Happy Halloween! Welcome to Makeup and Monarchies. My name is Tiffany. If you are new here, I am a cosmetologist, makeup artist, hairstylist, and lover of all things UK history. I thought today we would do an episode on where Halloween comes from, what it stems from, how we got where we are today. It's actually based on a pagan holiday called either Samhain or Samhain. If you have not done so yet, could you please give me a subscribe here on YouTube? I will be listing all the makeup products that I'm using today down below in the description in case there's something that you like and you wanted to see what it was. If you are on Instagram or on TikTok, you can head on over there and give me a follow. On Instagram, I always post whatever happened on this day. So that being said, I think we should just get into it. We ready? So Halloween is 2 days away, and I thought today was going to be, or would be, a good day to talk about the history of Halloween. So Halloween's roots are actually stemmed in Gaelic culture. The night of October 31st. Let's get all this garbage on my face. Not the product, how my face is. The night of October 31st is called Samhain, but it is spelt like this. It is also pronounced as Samhain, but I'm going to say the older terminology, which is Samhain. Samhain is celebrated on November 1st, and the word Samhain means summer's end. Way back when there were I live in New England, we have 4 seasons, which is probably turned into 3 at this point, but they would refer to 2 seasons. So there was the light, which would be summer, and then there would be the dark, so that was winter. So way back when, like I said, they only had the 2 seasons, summer and winter, not like the 4 we have now, or 3. So this is why it was the end of summer. That's why they called it Samhain, the end of summer. Their view on death was that the dead lived in another realm, or with the fairies and other worldly things. The realm was considered another stage of life, and there are a lot of ancient Celtic stories that describe journeys to the other side. Usually they start with the discovery of a portal, sometimes under a hill or in a fairy circle. Another common part is the difference in the passing of time. I'm going to be doing like Halloween, like a darker eye today, but I'm using a new plum, like a dark plum colored lip, so I'm going to keep the eye a little on the cooler side but dramatic. The traveler may experience many years in one realm when only a few hours or months have passed, or vice versa. And many of these stories take place during Samhain, the time of the dead, when the veil between the realms is at its thinnest. Communication between the realms happens in 2 ways. The living may remember the dead and pass on their messages, or the dead may visit this realm to complete any unfinished business. Way back when, trick-or-treating was very, very different. What we actually do today is a combination of traditions that were started a long time ago. At first, the treats were offerings to ill-meaning spirits that would urge them to stay away. Dressing up in costumes stems from this, or people disguising themselves as spirits so they blended in and wouldn't be bothered. Later, the disguising, or guises, would take the offerings themselves. Another pagan tradition is called the Dumb Supper. Odd name, I know, but what it really means is that the supper was held in complete silence. At these suppers, at one end of the table, there would be a setup and a reserved spot for the dead, including food placed on the plate. During the dinner, other traditions took place, like not looking at the reserved spot, and the door would be kept open so that the spirit could come in when they wanted to. At the end of the dinner, everyone would leave in silence. So I'm just gonna kind of build this up. This wing that I used the shadow to make, just kind of build it up a little bit. I just want to make a softer appearance when I put my liner on. So I'm going to work on the other eye. I will be right back. Okay, back. So many old traditions and rituals morphed into new traditions to go along with the spread of Christianity. The concept of heaven and hell became the realms of the dead, where communication with the dead had been in the past. Now it was time to reflect on all who had died and to pay for the souls that were caught in purgatory. Where communication with the dead having been in the past, now it was time to reflect on all who had been lost and to pay for the souls who were caught in purgatory. The saints and the angels were thought to guide all the hallowed souls to heaven, and so October 31st became known as All Hallows Eve, and then November 1st became All Saints Day. The older version of All Hallows Eve was All Hallowseen, which became Halloween. So that's how we get the modern word. We have a lot today that's heavily influenced by Celtic and pagan traditions that morphed with Christianity as it spread. It was these traditions that came to America and when both the Irish and Scottish people immigrated here. So then it morphed again into what we now know of Halloween. In Scotland, the thought or belief that bonfires, or sanach, were lit as a form of protection from evil spirits that could be hanging around, where's my brush, on the night of Samhain. The fire was thought to repel evil intentions and hold them back until the sun came up. On the islands, there were competitions between neighbors as to who could build the biggest fire. On the mainland, it was far more common for people to put the bonfires in prominent spots on the land so that they could be seen far away. I'm gonna pull this down and see if I can. Oh, that did work. I'm just pulling this down a little bit just to kind of pull my cheek in a little bit. During the bonfires, couples could place a nut in the fire, and if it hissed, it meant the relationship would be rough. But if it burned quietly and burned evenly, then it was a good match. Like we have pumpkin carving today, or now, they did the same back then. However, they used turnips. Now, if you've ever seen a picture of these, they are fucking terrifying. These were used to scare off the fairies and ghosts. Candles were put inside of them to brighten their face so these two could be seen from far away. Like I said earlier, guising was the OG of costumes and a form of trick-or-treating. Parents would disguise their kids to deter roaming fairies and spirits from taking them. During a night of mischief, the kids would play tricks on their friends and neighbors, or they would go from house to house telling jokes to earn treats. One of the most famous guises in Stirling was James V. He would dress up and visit his subjects in the villages that were surrounding Stirling Castle. Something that was made on Samhain was a combination of toasted oats and whipped cream. So it was basically like a pudding. And it was called Forak na Sanya. I hope I said that right. Forak na Sanya. Forak na Sanya. Naya? I'm trying. Tokens were folded into the pudding to predict what the next year would bring. Each person would eat a spoonful of the mixture, and if they found a token, their future had been foretold. If you got a coin, then you would receive money. A ring represented an engagement. If you got a button, you would lose money, and a thimble would mean another year without finding love. Another custom, which is past the time frame I usually research, but in the 17th century, a pagan rite surviving into the Christian epoch was recorded in the Outer Hebrides and Iona. On the night of October 31st, fishermen along with their families would go down to the shore. One man would go into the water up to his waist. He would pour out a cup of ale and ask Shawnee, who he called God of the Sea, to give them a good catch. Custom was ended in the 1670s after a campaign of ministers. The ceremony shifted to the springtime and went on until the 19th century. So nowadays, some of these traditions are still celebrated around parts of Scotland. So this is not coming out. Oh, there we go. So keep an eye out for pictures of people posting pictures on Instagram from their experiences this season. There is a huge festival that takes place, two of which I know of are on Calton Hill, and then there's one at Holyrood Park in Edinburgh on the 31st. I wanted to give a huge thank you to Ross Carney from My Scottish Journal on Instagram and TikTok for helping me with these Gaelic pronunciations. Please make sure to check him out and go and give him a follow. He always posts beautiful pictures. I will be right back. That's all I had for today for this episode. I wanted to do a special one for Halloween because I thought it would be fun to get down to the roots of what we celebrate here in America, and I mean obviously other places, but just that proves my point that a lot of holidays are based off of pagan traditions. So that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment down below that if you liked, or if there was something that you learned today or another fact that you know that I missed out on. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Makeup and Monarchies. And if you enjoy what I do here and would like to help support me, you can go over to buymeacoffee.com/makeup and monarchies and donate to my Starbucks addiction. So I think, like I said, that's all I have for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Oika hauna, huv hula. Happy Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great one. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.